ready to have the thoughts that create the income you want? And it's not just about money. Are you ready? We're fighting this war for our brain. Are you ready to have not just about money? I say to you, it's time for you to personally undevelop these old stories. We're fighting this war for our brain.
Little success mindset, Nick.
You don't need more software.
We need more software. We're in a war for our brain. Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Sean Murphy, 6-time international bestseller. Stood on stage in over 30 countries, paid to stand on stage. I didn't just show up there with my team or organization. I've received income from standing on stages in 30 plus countries, been translated into over 40 different languages. A lot of those simultaneous conversations live at the arena. And so today we're going to have a conversation on what really happens when we're having a prospecting conversation. And it's important to understand that because we're told often, many times, show the program, go for no, have some fun, keep going, right? Move 10 pennies out of your pocket. One of the greatest teachers of who's been around probably the oldest living network marketer right now. In my world, in a lot of people's world, Larry Thompson, 50, I think this is his 55th year in the profession and moving 10 pennies, right? So I wanted to go a little bit deeper because the prospecting conversation hasn't changed. And prospecting is simply you wanting to go find out if somebody's interested, right? We prospect the dirt to see if it's interested in letting us find gold or letting us find the raw material. Would you say there's a lot of research done in looking for oil today or gold or any of the rare earth minerals or materials? Do you think people through science and geology and a variety of things, do you think they do a lot more studying of the surface, the area, to pick the best location? Well, it seems like we've kind of missed that research side of understanding what happens when we go to have a conversation with somebody. So I'm going to give you some questions today to use. I use 3 primarily. I have 7 others that I've kind of kept in reserve, but you've heard me use them over the time. So I'm going to give you 10 powerful questions to use in your prospecting. Hey, good morning, Beamish. I really want to go over, I want to help you understand the field you're about to go into, this gold mine of possibility. And the reason most people struggle when they go prospecting is because they're not familiar. They don't understand the Paul Harvey rest of the story. So this idea of understanding prospecting questions is important. I don't think we spend enough time on it. I think we spend more time with wanting to be in promotion versus prospecting, but that's my philosophy. So I want to give you some construct, some understanding of what is the productive tension that's about to happen. Because think about it. Isn't that what you're about to go do? Have tension? Aren't you going to create some resistance, some curiosity? There's going to be tension in the conversation you're about to ensue. And the key is to make it productive tension. So I'd have you write that down. Write down the word productive tension. And then it's important for you to understand or to review where at in your presentation are you creating productive tension. So, and the key is, as you create tension, it's paramount. What will determine if your sales grow is if you create psychological safety. They connect to one another, and they happen in the nervous system. See, I don't know very many people who teach the nervous system in prospecting. It's also the identity system that somebody has. And this is using plain language. So first of all, understand the psychological safety, right? The psychological safety that you are triggering, that you are going to activate, is felt that speaking honestly will not lead to ridicule. This is if you can have them discuss where they are, where they need to be, and where's their shortcoming, right? A lot of times that allows us to easily and effortlessly speak into the gap. What are they missing? And if we keep them in the gap, we take away their psychological safety. They have to feel comfortable to say, here's my gap. Here's what I don't have. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I don't have the health. I don't have the wealth. I don't have the relationships. I don't have the community. I don't have the fill in the blank. What is it that your product or service, what is it that your product or service provides that is only available through you? Now, your competition has product. The product doesn't have you. You have the product. You're the one that makes it most valuable. So psychological safety, the meaning is that the felt sense of speaking honestly without leading to ridicule, punishment, or loss of status. Think about network marketing. What's one of the first things people say about our profession? Oh, is it one of those things? That's loss of status. We don't think about it that way. See, why this matters most is in a prospecting conversation, when safety is present, think about it. You're about to go have a conversation. And if you know that safety is present, the person can disclose uncertainty. They can disclose ambivalence. This aspiration, an aspiration without immediately defending their current identity. Man, I would really like to be a part of a team. I know there's a lot of people who joined me in business over the last 2 decades, 2.5 decades, who love the team, love the individuals they met. That wasn't the reason. That wasn't a purchasing factor. That was a beneficial factor. They hoped it was there. They couldn't reveal to themselves. They couldn't say, I'm lonely. How many people do you know are part of communities simply because they're lonely? Just saying, be aware of that. That's not there, and your conversations are probably not going to allow in the productive tension for that to come out unless it's a totally safe space. So these permission questions that I'm going to share with you, it's allowing you, it says you signal respect for the individual. And when asking permission to have the conversation, right? You all know the 3 questions I typically ask. I drill into you all. They allow for this collaboration rather than an evaluation. Oh, snap. What if your t-shirt said, I collaborate, I don't evaluate? What if you thought about your presentation today as a collaboration, not a presentation? Right? A dear friend of mine, Lisa Grossman, says, we need more conversation, less presentation. We need more collaboration and not evaluation. Oh, they're in this. They're a waitress. They must not have enough money. They're a truck driver. They must not have enough time. They're a fill in the blank and they must not have, and we're evaluating them. What would a collaboration look like? Now, the physical reactance, the psychological reactance that takes place, right? When you drop a bomb on somebody and tell them how wonderful your program is, it's a bomb. They've never seen it before. They've never heard it before. They've never heard it from you before. So it creates a motivational pushback, the psychological reactance. A psychological pushback occurs when people feel their freedom is being threatened. Well, wait, my presentation is designed. I want to help them have more freedom. I want to help them have more money. I want to help them have more health. I want to help them have more travel. See, their current identity, ladies and gentlemen, if I can get this point across in such a way that you go, oh, it would be a red letter day for me. If people could truly understand what you understood, they would easily say yes. Wouldn't they? If they knew what you knew, if they had the result you had, if they had the feeling you had, if they had the health you had, if they had the income you had, if they had whatever the one thing is that you currently have, and maybe you just got started. Maybe you haven't enrolled your first person. Maybe you've enrolled 10,000 people. What they're really looking for is a level of feeling comfortable, confident about who they're becoming more than defending about who they are. So the psychological reactance that's taking place is resulting in doing or resisting the opposite of what they're being urged to do. How many of us, when we were told, hey, listen, go clean your room, you didn't clean your room? Yet if it was Mom's Day, Mother's Day, you went and cleaned your room going, Mommy, I cleaned my room. And Mom would be like, my mom would be like, that would be awesome. That's awesome. Oh, great job, Sean. When I'm sure now that I'm a parent for quite some number of years, that she said, the hell I've been asking you to do, it's about time. Yet the signal, the frequency was the room clean. The signal I was resisting when Mom told me, when I wanted to do something special, I did what she was asking me to do, and I thought I deserved an attaboy, and I got it. But now that I look at it, it's a thing parents get to give their kids. It's what you should do anyways. I will praise you when you do it with your own motivation. Isn't that what's really happening when we have a prospect? They should get started. Your business is valuable. Your product is valuable. Your story is valuable. Your products work. You provide solutions. Tens of thousands of people are using your product every single day and getting benefit. They should enroll with you. It's this psychological reactance of triggering an identity, triggering a personality that's different. See, most prospecting falls short, fails because it accidentally activates reactance. And what is reactance? It's pressure, it's persuasion, it's urgency. You should, or it's an implied judgment. If you don't join me, you're a loser. Now, you never say that. I hope you never say that. These curiosity questions prevent it by simply using the phrase, do I have your permission? Right? The three questions I ask, I'll get to the other 7 as we wrap up this morning. But the 3 questions that I ask is, do I have your permission to help? I start right there. Isn't that what the ultimate goal is at any moment you have an interaction with somebody on your team, a customer or a business builder or a leader? Is to be of help. Do I have your permission to help? This explicitly protects freedom. So the person does not need resistance to prove autonomy. They don't need to fight me to keep their identity. Do you realize most of your dialogues, most of your conversations, listen, I was a vice president of sales of a $200 million company, network marketing company, for over 2 years. The most fascinating, first job I ever had in my life, most fascinating job I ever had in my life, is to see how the sausage was made, what was going on behind the corporate. I had never been on the corporate side of a company before. I've always been the entrepreneurial spirit who built my own companies. And it was interesting to see the rules that corporations have in place, especially publicly traded ones. So when I would begin to ask questions, man, it was interesting to see how the installed philosophy resisted wanting any change. Well, that's the same thing with our prospects. There's an installed philosophy that is really resisting change. If how is the most used word to search for results on Google or any search engine, how, if we truly understand what how is, how means we're searching for a strategy, a formula, this. In searching for a strategy, you're wanting to change the human, which is why I use the phrase when somebody asks me how, in my head, I've wired how to equal human. Who do I become? How do I become better? Who is it I need to be? And then the strategy they ask. Give me your script. How do you prospect people? How do you prospect humans to join you in business? What's the human prospecting for, right? Does that make sense? So the second one, so psychological resistance. Number three is the autonomy support. Self-determination theory. In psychology, it's called self-determination theory. Motivation and well-being strengthen when autonomy, competence, and relatedness are supported. You realize we're asking people to step into something they've never done. It's why the phrase came up, ignorance on fire. They don't know what they're doing. They get so excited about it, and excitement overcomes all of the strategy necessary. Does that make sense? So when the reason people can't stay in your business for more than 60 days is because they don't have the autonomy support. They are not able to stay who they are. And when people say, oh, you've joined one of those things, then they say this phrase, have you lost your mind? Let me let you in on a little secret. When somebody says, have you lost your mind? They're not really saying you've lost your mind. Think about it for just a moment. Have you lost your mind? What they're really saying predominantly about themselves, it's a very selfish question, is they're saying, I don't know who you are. I can't find you in my mind. So I can't find you here. You've joined a new company. You've decided to get tattoos. You've decided to date somebody that was totally restricted from dating. I know that because I used to do that. And my mother would always say, have you lost your mind again? Because I would date the non-approved list. How many of you were like that, dating the non-approved list of partners? Anyways, yes, quite funny. Not funny then, funny now. So my mom would say, have you lost your mind? And what I really understood here in the last 2 decades of understanding the brain and being a brain trainer and a hypnotherapist and a mental toughness coach and a self-talk trainer and the NEST program, neuroenergetic self-sculpting, helping people create and craft that inside their own body. What I found out was when somebody said, have you lost your mind? What the translation was, is I can't find you in here. I can't find the program I have that's called Sean. And I don't know who this new person is. You ever have somebody say, I don't know who you are? How the hell is that possible? I don't know who you are. I'm standing right in front of you. The physical thing called this name, Sean, is standing right in front of you. What they're saying is the patterns that I have for you, pre-programmed, preset, right? My favorite preset stations on my radio dial called Sean are you can do this, 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 and this. And if you don't do any of those, I'm going to ask you, have you lost your mind? Because I can't find you in mine. So when you ask somebody to join you in business, you're literally taking away the presets that everybody in their world has for them. Oh, you've joined one of those things. How's that little business going? Diane Sweeney on the YouTube. So permission questions plus choice language, light answer, deep answer, right? Are you getting light answers to your questions, or are you getting deep answer to your questions? Most prospecting, most network marketing, most business presentations, because of today's social economy, are only about light answer questions, not deep answer questions. See, if you're going to take somebody on a deep answer conversation, this turns the interaction into self-directed exploration instead of complying with the story everyone else has for them. You see, there's a little bit more to prospecting than just, hey, listen, go talk to people. So number four part, the psychological part of prospecting is the motivational interviewing, the spirit of the conversation, the frequency of the conversation, meaning a change oriented, right? That's what you're going to do. They don't use your product. They don't have your service. They don't have your tools. They don't have your ingredients. They don't have your fill in the blank. They don't have your travel service. They don't have your whatever it is. It's a change oriented conversation. If somebody says yes to you, their life is changed. And it's grounded in partnership. I think it's grounded in partnership. Isn't your conversation, if you get started, I'll be there to help you? It's a change-oriented conversation grounded in partnership, grounded in acceptance, grounded in compassion and evocation, drawing out the person's own reasons for change. See, I can easily change for your reasons. My mom made me change for her reasons a lot of times. Don't embarrass me, I'll kill you, right? When we were going to Sears when I was little. Why it matters. Evocation is opposite of convincing. It makes the person the author of their change language. The reason people ghost you after 30 days, ghost you after 30 hours, was because they got so excited with the language, they adopted your frequency. How many of you have ever learned a new word, a foreign word? And you're like, oh my God, I love that. What's the name of this dish? There's a plant that grows in, where is it? Not in Colombia. Maybe it is Colombia. I've been there a couple of times. It'll come to me in a second. I'm trying to think of where it is. And you can make it into anything. You can make it into a soup. You can make it into ice cream. You can make it into pudding. Is it Panamanian? No, it's. I'll think of it in a second. But see, that's one of those things. You learn it. It's awesome. And I've had it 7 different ways. I've had it as an appetizer, a hot appetizer. I've had it as cold ice cream. Unbelievable, magnificent. Is it? It's not Panamanian. Anyways, it'll come to me. It's been a while, as you can tell. The same thing happens. You learn it and you're like, oh my God, I have to know this. This is the best thing ever. And because we don't use it, we're not typically using it. We forget it. So therefore, in this relationship you and I have had together, if you prospected me and you got me excited about the income opportunity, the travel opportunity, the wellness opportunity, the you fill in the blank opportunity, and I'm not used to explaining that, I'll forget the language. I will have to come up with a way to excuse myself. And since most people don't like confrontation, they just disappear. So how does your approach align? Your opening questions are essentially mini style. They're how would I say it? It's a consent gate. You're opening the gate and asking them. Now, it depends which way you're opening the gate. Are you opening the gate towards you or towards them? Are they opening the gate? Asking them to collaborate, to invoke, and to manage intensity ethically. See, this is way more than you've probably ever heard about prospecting. Go prospect, go talk to people. And so here's the last one, productive tension. This is a collaborated discrepancy between current reality and described and desired identity that creates energy for change without collapsing into shame or threat. That's productive tension. If somebody says no to you, and listen carefully, you know they could do your business. You know they could use the income. You know they could use your product. You know they would benefit. If you know all of these things, there's a good chance they know it too. And the reason you're like, I don't know, this would be so good for them. The reason they're saying no is because they either see it as a threat or it activated shame in them. Sorry, I know you didn't mean that. These are the landmines you are walking into that blow up on you, and you're like, I didn't know that was there. See, no tension means no movement. Too much tension triggers defense. It triggers a rationalization of, I need to stay here. It triggers withdrawal, aka ghosting. When you're going to touch the truth and the possibility at the same time, can you do it in a dose they can tolerate? Some of us, people say yes to just because they're excited. They're like, they're just goofy. I like being around them. Yet when you learn more and you become more sophisticated, more educated about your company, your product, your income, we have a tendency to overload them in a place where they can't deal with the productive tension. All right. So I can go into more. There's threat versus challenge appraisal. There's shame regulation and attack prevention. Let me do this one. So when you go prospecting, there's not a single person I know who wants to make somebody feel inferior. I'm going to go talk to them and I'm going to activate shame in their body and I'm going to make them feel horrible. So horrible that they have to join me. I'm become their savior. There's a few I've met. It's a rare, odd duck who wants to go harm somebody in a prospecting conversation. Shame is not simply feeling bad. It is often a global self-judgment that pushes me into hiding, makes me become a little aggressive, or it forces me to collapse. There's a lot of people who, when they argue in relationships, they have shame-based arguments. Whoever makes the other one feel worse wins the argument. It's not intentional. It's self-regulating. It's self-protection. See, deep questions, when you ask deep questions, you can accidentally imply to the prospect, you're failing as a person. Do you make as much money as you want? If you answer, no, I don't. Truthfully answering, no, I don't make as much money as I want. At a psychological frequency inside your body, you have just confirmed your failure. Now, how many of us have ever asked that question? Listen, I've asked all these questions. I was the biggest a-hole on the planet till I realized after my first year in business, $80,000, $85,000 in business my first year, hang on, in debt, because I activated so much shame. If karma is real, I'm probably still paying for some of that karma. I haven't probably zeroed out the books yet on how bad I made people feel my first year in business. It's a whole nother Paul Harvey story. Deep questions can accidentally imply you're failing as a business leader. Where in industrial business, in traditional business, I was in traditional sales for 20 years, selling into phosphate mines, power plants, paper mills, you name it, wastewater treatment plants, water treatment plants. I would sell mechanical gaskets, packing, mechanical seals, you name it. I dealt on the industrial side, the production side of those industrial facilities, and I made a lot of sales calls. You can shame a plant superintendent. You can shame a mechanic. I know, because I did, not intentionally, being able to look back and review what it is I did. So what's the guardrail? How do you set this up where the conversation is going to be no self-attack? Because most people will give you answers that are attacking themselves, and most people aren't trained how to help people defend themselves. See, this single instruction keeps inquiry in behavior, inquiry into values and standards and choices rather than identity connection. Again, there's a huge psychological reason behind all of this. So let's go through the 10 questions real quick. I've spent a lot of time giving you the behind the story. I want you to understand the power of these questions, right? The first question I ask is, do I have your permission to help? That opens up the stage for anything. Sets their mind, it establishes in their mind the psychological safety. I'm here to help. What's the thing that most people don't? I don't want help. I don't know how to ask for help. I'm not going to ask for help. I'm putting you in a position, is it okay if I help? You may not use it. I didn't say you have to use my help. Do I have your permission to help? Second question I ask is, do I have your permission to make you feel a little uncomfortable? For you to say yes to anything I have is going to require you to become somebody you've never been. You've never used my product. You've never used my product from me. You may have been a previous customer with my company or a company that has something similar to that. You've never been a customer of mine. You've never been a business builder of mine. So it's going to be a little uncomfortable. Can I make you a little uncomfortable? And then the third one is if I do make you uncomfortable, can I take you out of that uncomfortable feeling? Those are the first three questions. Fourth question, what outcome would make this conversation worth it today, even if nothing else changed? I ask that question a variety of ways. Another way I'll ask that question is, hey, in the next 30 minutes, what makes this a good conversation? What? Yeah, we're going to spend about 30 minutes together. If it's going well, if it's not going well, we'll probably spend only 10 minutes together. If we're going to spend about 30 minutes together, what makes it a good conversation? And then you have to be quiet. You're setting up the collaborative framework. You're helping them activate self-determining goals, autonomy. It shifts them from defending who they are, their current identity, and offers you both, them and you, a glimpse into who they could become. They don't have to perform. They can't perform. They're becoming somebody they've never done, so they don't know how to perform. Imagine if you had a script. Imagine if you were part of a play. I don't know, the Christmas play. And you were one of the reindeers, or you were Santa. And all of a sudden they said they needed you to be the father in the Christmas story. You're like, I don't know that part. That's exactly what you're asking somebody to do when you prospect them. I need you to play a new part in your life called the winner, the healthy person, the business owner, the network marketer, the fill in the blank. And they don't have a script for that. So now there's performance pressure. I don't know how to do that. Most people, I remember in the beginning, people are, I don't know how to do network marketing. I'd ask them, have you lived under a rock? Have you never had a conversation with somebody? Have you never told somebody thank you? Have you ever in your life ever once asked for directions? Oh yeah, then you know how to do this business. Because we have set it up in such a way, we have made this profession, mentors leading mentors, MLM, right? Me loving more. We've made it such a unbelievably camouflaged business of life that people say, I don't know how to do this business. I can tell you then, the presentation that got them in was pretty fascinating, and I'll leave it at that. Here's another question. Question 5. What are you protecting right now? Are you protecting your time? Are you protecting your image? Are you protecting your energy? Are you protecting your hope? See, these are surface protections, and they're motivations that you're not accusing them of being closed. You're asking them, what's valuable to you? Naming these protections lowers the defensiveness and upgrades the conversation to a little bit more level of honesty. Number 6, what have you tried that almost worked, then faded? This bypasses bravado in guys or shame, right? By the honoring effect of honoring the fact that they went after something. Congratulations. What have you tried that almost worked? What you'll find is, from a presentation standpoint, it'll reveal the pattern. Right? Did they have weak scaffolding to build on their success? Were they literally in the wrong environment? It invites them into specificity without blame. Have you ever been taught these before? Maybe this is one of the reasons, I don't know. When I built an organization in Latin America, I enrolled 2 gentlemen, brothers, and inside of 12 months, we had 18,000 people in the organization. Because we talked this way. Now, well, Latin market's a lot different than European market. Totally 100% agree. Totally different than the US market. 100% agree. Why did it work in all markets? Because we didn't sponsor on culture. We didn't sponsor on race. We didn't sponsor on language. We sponsored on humanity. We sponsored on human. And every human can hear these questions. Now, is there a localization based upon the cultural environment? Yeah, there's a couple little tweaks. These are the questions that help me build an organization of magnificent proportion in a very short order. What have you already tried that almost worked? Hey, listen, if you stay on your current path for the next 12 months, what do you predict will be better? And what might be worse? We live in a binary world, right? We live in a binary world, positive, negative. You listen to Outwitting the Devil. The devil says, I'm half of every atom, negative, positive. If you're only asking the one-sided conversation, what do you want? Where do you go? What do you this? There's this huge hole that's opening up called the reality of possibility. So what's going to be better? What could be worse? Question number 8, what do you need? What do you know you need? What do you know you need, and what keeps you from doing it consistently? Most people say discipline. Right? I have the moniker of an accountability coach. Most people don't want to be held accountable. And so when I understood through mental toughness, holding people accountable, that's a rare breed who really wants to be held accountable, who will do the accountability work. I realized where they got stuck was in the story they told themselves, which is why I then went headlong into understanding the brain. All that I do responds around the brain. Mental toughness, inside the brain. Being a certified brain trainer by the Amen Institute, inside the brain. Neuroencoding, what you think in your brain produces in your body. Self-talk, right? Self-talk trainer, life coach. I'm still figuring out life, so I don't really like that term. In the moment coach to help you have more of what you want. Better than a life coach, because your life is magnificent already. It's how much your desire to want to make it betterer is why you would need somebody to help you. So all of these things, mental toughness, neuroencoding, hypnotherapy, brain trainer, all of these is because everything that you're about to do, even listening to this presentation, is happening in your brain, and you are either going to accept or reject it. All right, here's number 9. If we removed the fear of being judged, shame, what truth would you say out loud about where you're at? See, these are not surface questions. These are deep questions. This one targets social threat, the impression of how people see you. Shame thrives in perceived judgment. And number 10, what would you be willing to trade to become the version of you that you say you want? Those are 10 big questions. And I went into the psychological front end side of it to help you understand the true depth of these. Right? I have a phrase that I say, I've learned it 3 decades ago. I'm on a small talk diet. Is it okay if we go a little deeper? Is it okay if we go under the covers and have a conversation rather than the surface? I'm on a small talk diet. Can we go a little deeper in our dialogue? And you'll find a lot of people say, oh, please, for the love of God, let's have a deeper conversation. Now, I have to be careful because I can take you to a depth that sometimes your ears will pop. And I need to ease you ease you into that. So those are the conversations. If you want to learn more, reach out to me. My handle on social media, for those of you on YouTube, is Sean G. Murphy Now, SEANG Murphy Now. And then those handles, Instagram, YouTube, a variety of things. You can go watch this again live on YouTube, youtube.com/Sean G. Murphy Now. And if you want to learn, get the questions, feel free to get the questions. Go to SeanGMurphy.com and get on the email list. I love you tons. I'm your head brain training, brain scrambling misfit, YouTube. I'm going to have a conversation real quick with some of the folks in the Zoom. And in the emails, you'll learn how to get to the Zooms as well. Until then, bye for now, everybody. Live stream. There's a live stream button and stop.